Yo, this is Erica Ford. I am the streets now. And we here, Ruff Ryders Radio. Check it out every Friday. You know where you gotta be, in them streets. Ruff Ryders.
Go. Oh, introduce this lovely woman. Introduce this lovely woman right here.
Yo, man, without no further ado, it's like family right here, man. We got Erica Ford in the building, man, representing that peace. Like, we've been waiting for you. We've been waiting for you to get here. We've been waiting for you to get here.
Yeah,
you here.
I ain't gonna hold you. I was excited last week that you was gonna come in. You know what I'm saying? And
mixed up my
the
days.
little mix up, yeah, which is perfect.
You know, when you reach a certain age, you start forgetting, mixing and co-mingling. That's why I need a young intern to come work with me. Hint, hint. Anybody out there listening? Let's go.
Yeah, hit us up. Hit up Erica Ford. You know, hit us up and we'll connect the dots if we have to.
So, my first question would be, how did you get into start working with the activism?
So, it's so funny. Before we came in here, Chicken was here, and I used to hang out in Albany Projects and met some of those guys because all we wanted to do back then was hang out, go to parties, be fly. And one day I was going to a party, and we stopped at my friend's house, and there was a flyer on the wall, and the flyer on the wall was about a rally. It was about the police who had attacked brothers up in Goshen jail in KKK uniforms, and I was like, oh wow, and the young girl Tawana Brawley, who was raped by the police, and so I was like, I want to go to that, and the rally was December 12th, 1987, and so coming up on the 30th year anniversary of me being conscious and activist and doing this work in the streets and for our community and for our people, and I just, I didn't want to go to the rally the day of the rally because we had went to a party the night before, and it was like 6 in the morning. I wanted to go take the police test so I could be a crooked cop. And I consciously wanted to be a crooked cop so that I could tell the drug dealers, because it was the 80s, you know, it was a crack epidemic, and we were all ignorant, dumb, and stupid, doing stupid shit. And so I was like, let me do something stupid too. And I'm glad I did. And I went to that rally, and as our brother, my son, says, I got woke. You know, and I never looked back, and I was committed to doing something different for myself and for the people around me, particularly the young people in our community. And so there it is. That's just what I've been doing since then.
Definitely, you're doing a great job, you know, and the fact that you're doing this straight out of love is a blessing, you know, because being an activist, you don't get paid, you know, so a lot of people, they don't choose that because they're like, oh, I'm not going to get paid. So how does that, like, how do you transpire with that? Like, try to...
I had a good job and a supporting mother, and worked with people who really were committed to the movement. And so we did it. We struggled. We raised money. We did the work, and it was a different mindset. It was a different set of people back then, because back then when we grind harder, and we didn't get no money. You know, I look at like Stephanie, who brought me here. Stephanie, I met working with Ruff Ryders, and Stephanie goes hard, and it's not even her job. You know what I'm saying? And there's a rare group of people like that. Everybody's like, what's in it for me, and what can I get out of it? And you got to give me money, and you got to do this for me, and you got to do that, and it ain't about that. You know, like today, I cut this lady off, and then I like asked her, can I get in front of her? And she was like, you know, no problem, yes. And since she was kind enough not to cuss me out, she was behind me at the toll. I paid for her toll. You know what I'm saying? And I told her, the toll booth lady, tell her that's because she was kind. And so, you know, at some points in time, we got to do something, not because we want it back, but because we understand investing in our future is investing in other people, and it's investing in your community, it's investing in this world, it's investing in making things great and people great. And, you know, and that's what, you know, I'm glad that I was never motivated by money. You know, I don't think that we should be poor. I don't think that we should live inadequate to, you know, a wonderful lifestyle or whatever, but I don't think that money should be a motivating force.
Definitely. You had a question?
Yeah, I was just pretty much gonna say, like, is there ever been like a situation you guys couldn't work around, or like the rally?
Could not?
Yeah, couldn't work around.
I don't even think of what could not. That doesn't exist in my vocabulary.
Okay, then that's, there you go.
Yo, you know what's crazy about her?
That's dope right there.
I think when I first met her, I don't think it was a rally. I forgot which one it was. It was, I don't know what it was. It's just like when you come in the room, like you command, your presence is so like command, like move this chair, move this chair. She's one of the people where you like when she say move a chair, you like, let me get the chair. You know what I'm saying? So like having that type of presence. But tell us a little bit about the life camp that you.
Life camp is, so in 1987, I joined the December 12th movement, and from that I had the Black Consciousness movement. And then I had, first was December 12th Youth Movement, then the Black Consciousness Movement, then BAM, By Any Means Necessary movement. Then we went to the Code Foundation, which I did with Tupac Shakur and Matul Shakur and a lot of other folks, and then from that it evolved into Life Camp in 2002. And Life Camp is a not-for-profit organization dedicated to working with those young people who other people don't want to work with, you know, and who have that can't in their vocabulary. And not that I'm saying I'm not. But those people who are caught up in the mentality of we can't succeed because of our conditions. Right. We can't do this because of my mother is this, or my father's this, or they were in jail for this many years, or I was in jail, or I did this, and giving them the tools that can help transfer that mentality and shift their whole being into that
circle of thinking they can't do something better. Right,
and achieve.
So, the brothers that you're working with, like, I think it was my first time coming out with, I think Tupac, it was his sister, his sister was there, his sister's recently. And that was my first time actually experiencing. I was just like, okay, she got brothers here that actually did some time. You get what I'm saying? I think one of them, Prince, it was somebody that did some time, and he became a professor. And I was like, damn, I didn't know, like, she was working with brothers like that. Mike, he'd tell me a little something here and there, and I pay attention. But I was like, wow, I think that's very inspiring. That you're working with individuals that come from the neighborhoods that these young kids look up to, for the wrong reasons, and now they got some of the right reasons to look up to them.
So we not only work with them, we created, and Prince, who you just named, I just recently turned the baton over to Prince. So Prince is going to be he runs the day-to-day operation, him and Stephanie of Life Camp now. And so he retired from being a teacher, and now he is the commander-in-chief of Life Camp. And so I salute that brother. He definitely, did a lot of time for taking someone's life and identified his wrong and transformed his life, and is doing phenomenal things, and is a phenomenal brother. And I salute him and all the other brothers and sisters who are formerly incarcerated, who did their time and is now doing great things because they're great people. They just did something wrong. That's all it is. And so we created a system. We played a leading role in creating a system that is throughout New York City called the New York City Crisis Management System. And we have partner organizations like Man Up and Street Corner Resources in Harlem and Gangsters Making Astronomical Changes. We have 696 in Queensbridge. We have in Far Rockaway, Street Corner we have Safe Streets in Far Rockaway, and a lot of others. We have 18 sites. And so they all hire brothers and sisters who are formerly incarcerated because they're the credible messengers. They're the ones who, like the commercial at the beginning of this said, "We are the streets." We are the streets. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And we work those streets, and we make sure that we take the guns out of these young brothers and sisters' hands and give them the opportunity of hope and the opportunity of career choices that can help not only get them the bags, but can help them get the mental bag that they can carry them farther than the gold bag or the silver bag or the green bag, because you can get access to a lot of money. Like, we know people had a lot of money. They ain't got it now because they didn't have the knowledge to allow them to get up a plan that can make them maintain that money. So it's easy to get the money, I wanted you to get the brain so that you can make the money and keep the money.
Right.
And,
You know?
and build longevity,
Yes.
you know, and
Yes.
substance, and
Yes.
everything else that comes with that. So how strong is the fight against guns, getting guns off the street?
It goes to the cutting point, right? So I think that everything, you know, to wake up in the morning is hard, right? So I know that's about who do you connect with. Like going back to the couldn't, it's who you connect with. If you can't do it, who can help you? What do you need to do it? And that's why. So for example, the young brothers who are the urban yogis and Ravi Nova and my son and Ruff Ryders, we connect with people also who can help bring certain extra credibility or extra incentives for young people and parents to want to get involved and help and save their lives. And when you connect with people, you know, you could offer a lot of stuff, but when you connect with them, they really want to change. They want to live different. People don't want to die. They don't want to go to jail, but they feel like that is all they have. That's all that exists in their environment. And so the hardest thing is to the people who we work with, to getting people to transfer their ideas to believe that they can get a young person to change their ideas. And so dealing with staff management and all that stuff, that's to me was the hardest thing. And then dealing with the city bureaucracy was the other hardest thing. Getting the money, getting people to invest in young people who nobody cares about is the hardest thing. Once you get that, then it's all right.
October 7th in Chicago.
Hit up our brother Captain Dennis Muhammad. I know that he's doing a rally, but I don't have all the details about that. But Captain Dennis Muhammad, peacekeepers.org or Global Peace, but Captain Dennis Muhammad on all social media.
So
Dennis
do you teach any of that like the crisis intervention and conflict resolution and the life camp? Like that's where I was really going to, because you know I seen it on your page and you know I was just like I want to ask you about that. You know I want to know if that any of those things are implemented in you know the life camp.
Yeah, we have we have outreach workers, we have violence interrupters, and so the violence interrupters goes out and finds the high-risk level 3 shooters, the people who have the potential to be shot or shoot somebody. They bring them back and we work with them, and an outreach worker works directly with them on getting a risk reduction plan and how to shift their life, how to shift their mindset. We have free legal aid lawyers who provide free legal services to our young people and the families in the community. We have both professional and unprofessional therapeutic services that we provide to young people and to the community. So in some of those instances, we might do transformational leadership training. We might do how to deal with crisis management. We do conflict mediation classes in the school. We change the culture of violence in the school through various kind of activities. We have the violence intervention and prevention VIP team, and they work to make safe corridors in the school, creating a safe corridor for young kids to get to and from school. Because a lot of times you find older heads come up to the schools to recruit young girls and young guys, you know, and so we want to make that school environment a safe environment. We do all kind of trainings because we feel it's important to invest in the mind. And so we do, as you talked about the, what do you call that? The
Crisis intervention.
no,
Conflict resolution.
we do that too. But the thing for them to be like with the step to CPR, the CPR training.
CPR, right.
The CPR training, we do the regular leadership development. We do workforce development, so some of the young people get their OSHA license and the different kind of construction. I think we partner with LaGuardia College, so they do the workforce program over there.
Nice.
And we do too.
I need those resources.
Yeah, I definitely.
I need those resources because I work with adolescents in the substance abuse field, and that's a lot of those things that you mentioned. Like they're missing those things, even when they're in like institutions like SCO and
you know, they don't really connect them with resources. They might give them like post supervision, but and they might go to just to see their parole officers, like, but what are you offering them after they do this time, or you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you really offering them?
So we just started 2 years ago 2 new programs where we're in SEO, which is ACS program. We're in several different ACS youth detention centers and providing those training programs to them before they come out. And then when they come out, we stay with them. And that's not just us, it's all of in each borough. There's a group of people who work with these young folks who are in the ACS detention centers. We're in Rikers providing yoga and meditation as a way to exist in a hostile environment. You know, because sometimes you need to know how to stop and just think before you react, because sometimes when you react and you make that decision, it could cost you a whole lot of problems. So, you know, we do that. And we've just recently started a partnership, a pilot with the police in Southeast Queens. And so now, instead, there's been several incidents where the police call us instead of arresting somebody. They'll call us to intervene or mediate the situation to avoid arrest. And it's been successful in those different incidents. Because the main objective is to keep kids out of jail, keep them out of the graveyard. And so the various ways that we can make that happen, we make it happen. You know?
I'm pretty sure you're very aware of the news. A kid getting tired of being bullied. Staffed to I believe it's 1,300 schools, and only 80 of them have metal detectors. And the kid was being bullied from the moment the school opened the doors this school year. And unfortunately, you know, he reacted. He was tired of the situation. Now, I know if these public schools open the doors to programs you offer, you know, what would you do in a situation where the kid is being bullied, and, you know, because I know you would have stopped it.
We've mediated so many incidents where young people have been bullied. And when I heard about that, actually Robbie told me about that yesterday, and as soon as he told me, I hung up the phone on him, like, because it motivated me to go find out what happened, and to see that it's tragedy on both sides. You know,
well, there's 3 families now suffering. You know, you got the kid that was being bullied, and you know,
is now in jail.
You know, you got one that passed away, and then the other one is wounded. So now we got 3 families that are suffering. You know, so programs like the ones you offer are definitely needed in the school system. You know, and I'm surprised, and I just learned only 80 schools in the public system have metal detectors.
So,
and there's like I believe it's 1,300 schools, and only 80 of them have metal detectors.
So we didn't have metal detectors.
No, we did it. Absolutely not.
So each site is in 2 schools. And so we do the conflict mediation. We would have definitely intervened and mediated that situation and took those bullies under our thing in terms of working extra with them and helping them to shift their mindset from being bullies or just making them do extra works. And that's what we would have done. And that's why it's important to help invest in this work. You know, the mayors and the city council have invested, but we need to get more. When you look at changing the definition of dealing with violence from a criminal aspect to a public health issue, then you're not looking at putting more metal detectors, but you're looking at putting more health workers, more credible messengers, more brothers like y'all in these schools so that we can, you know, reduce the violence in terms of what's going on. And so that's where we gotta look at what are we gonna invest in? Are we gonna invest in arresting them? Because that's what the police and the metal detectors get, right? Or are we gonna invest in healing them? Because why are they bullying them? What's happening in their life? What's happening in their heart? What's happening to those young brothers to make them do that? And so
you gotta kind of pick their brain and see where their mindset is at, and, you know, try to figure it out.
Snatch them up and stay on top of them. You might have to babysit them. You know?
You know, I tell you what, I in school I was like that. I had a teacher who was like, "Oh, come with me. You know, you staying with me today." You know, We need more teachers like that.
Yeah.
That they care about the student, not only about the paycheck at the end of the week, but the student as well. So we're gonna take a break. We're gonna get into some music over here, and we're gonna be back with Erica Ford and everything that she's working on. She's gonna open the door to her world and let us in. Them Bronx boys, we here with Erica Ford. Let's get it.
Let's go.
You know what it gotta be, Cage Media ENT. I'm the E-Ski on the MIC and Ruff Ryder Radio. Cage Media ENT, check it out.
Hey, what's up, man? It's your boy Robbie Nova, and you are now checking out Cage Media ENT. Stay tuned.